Tiny Tina's Wonderlands is out in just a matter of weeks, but myself and Bex were lucky enough to play a slice of the game early thanks to 2K playing as two of the brand new classes, the Graveborn and the Stabbomancer, taking on a couple of story quests, side missions, and even boss battles.
So what follows are some of our thoughts on what we played and how it compares to Borderlands, accompanied by brand new game footage. Hope you enjoy.
I think it's fair to say that fans of Borderlands, and I personally haven't played many of the Borderlands games. I've played a bit of Borderlands 3, a tiny bit of Borderlands 2. But even I know that this definitely has that classic Borderlands DNA in the gunplay, in the gameplay itself, the RPG, and even the humor as well in the script. All of it is so on point and exactly what fans of Borderlands games are going to love.
Absolutely.
As well as still being quite approachable. Like I said, I'm not, I don't play too much Borderlands personally, but I was thoroughly impressed by what I played, and I could definitely see myself playing this game through, especially wanting to try all the different classes, seeing what they all have to offer. I only, got to try the Graveborn in this instance, but I think there's definitely a lot of scope for enjoying a lot of the RPG mechanics in the game.
Yeah, absolutely. I've played quite a few of the Borderlands games. However, I didn't play Assault on Dragon Keep, Tiny Tina's first little D&D adventure. So it'd be cool to maybe go back and try that out after playing a little bit of this. But one thing I did enjoy is, like you mentioned, the humor of it so far.
Yes.
And we heard like a little bit of the voice acting from likes of Andy Samberg and obviously Ashley Birch as Tiny Tina.
We're gonna have to fight this Vorkanar thing at the end of this, aren't we?
Yep, probably.
You afraid of fighting a dragon, Valentine?
What? No. It's just a stupid game anyway.
Whoa, 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 whoa. Stupid game? I'm gonna need you to go ahead and take that back, Valley. Right now.
Okay, take it back, all right? It's the best game ever, of all time.
Oh my gosh, the cast of people they have for it. I'm so excited to
Pretty
hear
stacked.
more from them. Yeah. So I kind of started with a fresh slate for my Stabbomancer with 8 skill points, which unlock different action skills, like special moves, like my From the Shadows that makes me turn invisible as a character, which is really cool, plus some passive skills that'll help other things. Those are all unlocked with skill points. Plus, there are some passive skills which provide buffs in various ways, like increasing melee damage. There's also hero points. Every character has their own stats, which Dungeons & Dragons players will be well versed in, but these affect different areas of combat, like intelligence with spell cooldowns and strength with critical damage. So yeah, I had some fun reading out which skill point does what, and kind of taking my time to think about what I want to buff my character with, which was cool. So here's a few of them. I was really impressed with how cool it looks, so expansive.
Yeah, I mean, it's got that classic Borderlands DNA with the cell shading and just visually, it looks like a Borderlands game, but it's just got that high fantasy flair to it, and of course, tons of chests to open.
Look, yeah, one thing I really liked about it was the weapons that I came across, and you've got one here as well, is like crossbow style rather than like your normal Borderland guns, like AR rifles or like even snipers and things like that. I'm hopeful that it kind of carries on that almost steampunk style, mixing the crossbows with the Borderland style weapons. It was a nice little touch, especially when you see a goblin full of arrows that you've just shot out. It was pretty cool.
What I really like as well, you mentioned with the weapon design, is just how it also feels like it's a new experience with the fact that magic is a part of this world. And obviously there are abilities and powers in Borderlands, but something more magical about the way they've done it in Wonderlands definitely suits the whole bunkers and badasses theme that they've gone for, which is really cool.
Totally.
At this point, I was kind of just checking out some more of the skills just to see what I could start planning for. But if we jump along, we actually get to talk to Jar, who's our first NPC quest giver.
Oh, Jar.
You're a little cutie.
She's so sweet.
And they are asking us basically to help them, release all the goblins that are currently being forced into labor.
They're tired of forced oppression.
Yeah, we are more than happy to oblige with that.
So now we're kind of Gonna get our first look at some enemies. They did give me a bit of a jump, I won't lie. Because I thought they were just flying about, these wyverns. I was like, oh no, they're fine, they're friendly. And then, yeah, someone shot some fire at me or something.
I think the best approach is if it moves, shoot it. Just take it out. Because, I mean,
Fair
after
point.
all, you're going to get some loot from it. Why not?
Yeah.
I love the colours in this game, though. The
Yeah.
creature design's really cool.
So cool.
It's very pretty. Again, I mean, Borderlands kind of, yeah, it's quite colourful and it has a lot going on. But this, I feel like they've really stepped it up.
Yeah.
And they've had a bit of fun with thinking, how can we make the Borderlands characters, what would they imagine a fantasy magic world to look like? Because, I mean, they'd still think it kind of looks like their world, but just with a bit more dragons, I guess.
That's such a fun way of putting it. We're literally just in Tiny Tina's head.
Yeah.
It's her world. We're just living in it. I really like the look of your abilities so far. What's the little, like, the ice blue blast you do with your fingers?
Yes, it's kind of like a single shot missile
Okay.
that deals, I think it deals either electric or ice damage. Which, of course, means, yes, there are elemental bits here
I
and
didn't
there.
find that.
You didn't see that?
No.
Oh, there's quite
Is
a few
that
of them that I
D20?
found.
That's so cool.
Yeah, lucky dice. So it's like
Lucky
a
dice.
collectible you can tick off, and it just gives you a bunch of stuff,
Sick.
which I'm always happy about.
I'm so excited to see some of the other missions, some of the other adventures we'll get to go on as well. Like you mentioned earlier about seeing different enemy types. Maybe there'll be like different areas we'll travel to as well. We're in Mount Craw at the moment. But the map, you briefly saw how massive it is as well.
Yeah,
so.
it looks huge. And that's just this particular location as well. I mean, as you're going through the overworld, I can only imagine that there's going to be tons of those styles of maps, as well as the sort of instance battles that can just pop up out of nowhere too.
Oh,
Yeah,
no.
that one didn't go so well for me.
Oof, it was a risk.
I don't think I actually survived this. Oh,
Yeah,
wait.
you
Oh.
did. Death save.
Yeah, it was actually a challenge. I was quite impressed.
Yeah, that's so
They
cool.
don't make it easy for you, but equally, it gives you everything you need to survive. You just got to figure out the best way to do it.
Does your companion help you out at all? Do they have any like offensive strikes, or are they just there for the ride? They're just there to look cute and say funny stuff.
Bit of both.
Okay, that's fair.
They basically, anytime I cast a spell, they sort of cast their own spell too. So
Oh, cool.
equally, if you want to get the most out of the Demi-Lich companion, probably the best thing to do is to maximize or minimize your cooldowns. Because the more often you can fire off spells, the more often the Demi-Lich is going to also attack.
Sweet.
They usually copies the same damage type that you output. So
Yeah.
if you're focusing on dark magic or electric damage or, any other, then you can try and focus the buffs on that, and the Demi-Lich will also stack that buff probably
Cool.
and increase the amount of damage you can do.
So switching over to my side of things, a little bit later on in the same mission, GTFO, is we've reached the mines now where the goblins are hard at work, slaving away, mining away, and we're gonna hopefully free them.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah,
I like that
from the
fireball.
Taskmaster, isn't it? It's so cool.
That looks awesome.
And it does some damage over time as well, some burning effect. But it did take a huge chunk out of this big beefy Taskmaster's health. So it's really helpful, like I mentioned briefly, in clutch situations too. And so here's my From the Shadows ability. Running circles around him.
Oh, wow. So many crits.
So yeah, in my From the Shadows form, every hit is a crit. However, it is slightly less damage, but I think overall it's still more.
Still much more.
So here I found the Oracle, I guess, who's behind all these poor goblins being put to work. And yeah, as you mentioned, it was quite overwhelming at some points with all these goblins. But luckily I had a fireball to half his health immediately.
That's so good. I love
Yeah.
that ability.
Yeah, I really enjoyed like mixing up the two of them. It was so good to, if I was struggling a little bit, just go invis for a little bit of breathing room. Plus all the area effect damages were really handy in this situation.
So later on in the game, after we complete the GTFO mission, I actually went back to talk to Jar because he's got some more things that he wanted us to do. And this mission, the Slayer of Volcano, was pretty fun because it had 2 main bosses to fight as well. The first of which was Freezicles. And unfortunately for Freezicles, they have something we need, which is their cold heart. Because we're basically going to try and freeze up the forge that's sort of powering all of this stuff.
Whoa.
And it was a really intense boss fight, actually, because there were minions running around as well. In this one, I was actually trying out the Reaper of Bones action skill instead, which you can see is currently depleting my health over time. But the more spells I'm pulling off, the more damage I get to do. And if I can keep it going, the effect lasts for a while.
That is pretty sick. Watching your health bar drop there did drop my heart a little bit, but that's so cool.
Luckily, though, once it drops to 0, you're invincible for a little bit of time, so you get a bit of a respite to try and figure out, okay, what's my next move to get to safety before I try doing that all over again. This was really close.
Oh my gosh, 6 health. Very good. I like the skeleton boys. They're pretty cool.
Yeah. Jar's just chilling there.
Yeah.
I'm taking care of business, but whatever, man. You do you.
Yeah, you could. Jar, please. Help us out.
One thing I liked, actually, that pop up there, that was kind of keeping track of almost like accolades that you were doing.
Yeah.
I found that really quite satisfying because I like to keep track of all the sort of stats I'm doing in these kind of games, and so being able to track like how many melee kills I've done or how much critical hits I'm landing or things like that. I find that really satisfying. So it's quite a nice addition that they've got going. I don't know if you get rewards for completing those or not, but it's still just a nice feature to be able to see how well you're achieving things. Yeah, Freezicles was a bit of a tank.
He is, yeah. Thank you.
Did well.
Absolutely. I wonder if we'll see. So he's frost damage. I'm guessing he's maybe a bit more immune to fire. Or
yeah, if I had
other
fire
damage
damage, it
types?
probably would have gone much quicker. I actually had a gun that dealt frost damage, and I realized it was just not helping at all. So I had to kind of swap over to one that did more dark magic damage instead.
Totally.
And eventually, it was crawling through this huge base that the goblins had occupied, and eventually coming up against the end boss, which was Volcana, who we were told was meant to be some kind of god, which may have been hyped up a little much because they ended up being some kind of mechanical dragon, which was
classic.
quite fun to fight against.
Look at this. Oh, so you're in a kind of arena with all the little goblins watching your blast.
So this is that frost damage gun that I had, and it kind of sends out this horizontal beam.
Yeah.
Which was probably really good for fighting like groups of enemies, actually. But I was trying it out on Volcana because I thought, it looks like they maybe a fire type, so maybe ice would be good against them. I don't know.
Yeah, nice crit hits as well. That's sick.
Yeah, I figured if it glows, I should probably shoot it.
Yeah. Oofed. So he's a level 12 boss as well.
Yeah.
Oh, you leveled up a couple of times. That's nice.
Yeah, I think I'm level
During this
11
playthrough?
now. Nearly level 12. Oh, yeah.
Oh, and there's wyverns flying about. That's so
I
rude.
know. I'm really, really close to dying on that bit. But I figured, all right, let's pop the ability and get some crits going, try and whittle down the health a bit more.
Yeah, why not? Graveborn looks so risky, but it really does pay off, doesn't it? With those extra damage.
If you can take it, it's a good way to go.
A lot of boss battles in the Borderlands series and Wonderlands too. Nice! Are all about movement and keeping on your toes, I guess. This looks so cool.
But in typical boss fight, style, there's always a different stage to it.
Oh.
Yeah, it wouldn't be that easy.
Nice. Oh, he's still going?
I know. Now he's got sort of quicker attacks as well, so it's kind of interesting to see the boss fights actually evolve over time as well. Get more and more difficult. Very satisfying when you eventually get the boss wipe there.
Oh, does he have someone controlling his head?
Yeah, he's like sitting on top.
There he is. Ah! Bye, mate.
There we go. And a nice little level up too. Why not? well, that's practically all we really got to experience with this build of the game. But obviously,
Nice.
when the full thing comes out on Xbox One, Series X, and S on March 25th, there's going to be tons more to experience, no doubt, as well as being able to see what the other classes are like.
Yeah.
This was just a little sneaky preview at two of them, the Graveborn, as well as the... What's your one? Stabbomancer.
Yeah.
Just a little look at the Graveborn and the Stabbomancer. But yeah, like when the game fully launches, there's going to be even more to pick from. And of course, we'll probably have some videos going up as well,
Heck
detailing
yeah.
what those classes look like, best tips and tricks on how to set them up for most amount of damage. And if you guys want to see that, maybe drop a like, hit subscribe as well so you don't miss those when they drop in the future. But just want to say a big thanks to 2K for letting us experience the game a little bit early and give you guys a sneak preview of what's to come in Tiny Tina's Wonderlands. So thanks for watching, guys, and we will see you in the next one.
Bye.